Let's bring in former professional and Fox Sports golf analyst Paul Gowy, who joins us now. Gowy, firstly, welcome to you. How shocked were you when you heard the news the traditional tours of the PGA in Europe are now teaming up with LIV Golf?
Oh, so unexpected. It is a shock, actually. I thought this would take 3 or 4 or 5 years to happen, if happening, just getting at the table, let alone making a joint venture like this. And there's going to be some players around the world that are shocked for sure. I went to bed and this wasn't going to happen. We're sort of preparing for the US Open and now, bang, this is on our doorstep, and amazing.
I mean, it's still so fresh, but all the questions are, how can this work out going forward, given all that's been said and done between the administrators, let alone the golfers?
Well, let's face it, all the egos have been left outside the office door now, and now they're acting like adults and looking at the betterment of the game. I hear this word, growing the game of golf. This hasn't really been about growing the game of golf. It's who could get a stranglehold on the game and have the best players in their field at all times, and money being thrown everywhere. It's been a great disruptor for golf around the world, in the sense that it's been better for Australia because we got a LIV tournament down here. There was a lot of interest in the Adelaide event, and we got to see some of the best players in the world. So, you know, it's gone in roundabouts, and I guess there's going to be a bunch of players who have been on one side and of the PGA Tour, they're going to have a little bit of egg on their face this morning.
Well, not only that, there would be a few you'd think that would be smarting, because several stayed loyal. You think of Hideki Matsuyama, who turned down literally hundreds of millions of dollars to stay loyal to the PGA, and now all of a sudden they're in bed with LIV Golf. So he doesn't take the cash, yet they'll be seemingly playing all together again very soon.
Yeah, I guess this is what we wanted, really, wasn't it? It was all the best players to play against each other. You know, the Masters this year, the PGA Championships, we got to see the best players, you know, Rahm winning and Brooks Koepka, who come from the LIV Tour. So one from each side of the tours. But we want the best players playing against each other. So we'll go back to when Greg Norman put this forward 30 years ago with Tim Finchem, and it didn't happen. But then Tim went and, well, the PGA Tour, I should say, you know, handed a bunch of world events, the WGC events, but nothing like what we'll see now, you know, with unlimited amount of money like the LIV Tour have got, and coming together. We will see the best players in the world playing more often against each other at more venues around the world. And that's what I'm interested in Australia, is that we get to see some of these players like Phil Mickelson, who hasn't come here before in any of our events other than the President's Cup. He'll come here and play, and that'll be fantastic.
Who's won the battle? Would you say it's LIV, given they're still central to not only this peace deal, but they're central to golf going forward? The Saudi-backed investment fund is key to this.
Yeah, I think they have. I think, well, you know what wins at the end of the day, Jim, is money. If you've got enough of it, it really turns everybody. So I think money is the winner in this one, and the players will be the winners for sure. There'll be a lot of structure to this. You know, the players will be able to set a schedule around the majors, which are separately owned to this, and so is the Ryder Cup. So those type of events are owned separately to the PGA Tour. So everything will be governed around those 4 majors, because let's face it, when you're a tour pro, when you go to bed, you want to win one of the 4 majors. That's when you're remembered. Other tournaments are very, very important, but they're the ones you want to win.
There's a lot of critics suggesting that perhaps those with the US PGA, Jay Monahan in particular, have proved to be a little bit hypocritical, given what they stood for 2 long years. Now, effectively, he heads up world golf.
Yeah, well, he has gone to Twitter on that and explained himself, and I sort of understand you've got to take a side. Well, he has to take a side and protect their investment that's over a number of years. I've always said that there is history in the PGA Tour that Jack Nicklaus, Gary Player, Ben Hogan, all those players of that era, that they really set the platform for the Tiger Woods, the Adam Scotts of the world, to play for a large amount of money and have a great career on. So he had something to protect through there. I'm hoping we're not going to be too harsh on him, but I'm sure we will be.
when it comes back to some of our favourite players from Australia, of course, Cameron Smith was, I guess, front and centre, given he was just the fresh Open champion who then defected to LIV Golf. He was world number 2 at the time, and he hasn't been able to accrue world points since then. How big a deal is it to Cam, Mark Leishman and the rest of the Aussies?
Oh, well, it makes Cam look really clever, doesn't it? He had to make a choice at the time, and it was a good choice for him and his family and his generational wealth. The amount of money that he possibly was paid, he could never make that in playing the game of golf and setting up, different foundations and his family at the end of the day. So, master move from Cam and Mark Leishman and Jed Morgan there, Travis Smythe, who all these, Wade Ormsby that went also. It was a master move, and I think there's something bigger in it for these guys too, in the sense that are showcasing their country that they're so proud of here in Australia. So we'll get more events, and they'll be part of those events. But for Cam, at the time of his career, getting to number 2 in the world, and on his way with a bullet to number 1 in the world, taking on the Rams and the Koepkas and all those sort of players, this has got to be a great day for him, because he can get back playing with the guys that are the best in the world, and he can play on a more regular basis against those. So let's face it, the LIV Tour, the bottom end of the last, probably 10 or 15 players of that tour, they weren't that solid, where now you're just going to, there's going to be a depth of players that you're going to have to play well, and Cam Smith's up for the fight.
Indeed. I fancy there's still a lot to play out for a little while just yet. Great developments. I really appreciate your insights, Gowy.